All right, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome
Hello,
to
world.
another Friday live from Vegas and Grapevine, Texas. T-Dub's in the
Yep.
house. So, yeah, Vegas and and so I just had to mute that. David, I sent you a link. I sent. I forgot to send. Hold on.
You're slacking. You're
Yeah.
slacking.
Well, no, I started playing around with your daughters on YouTube, on FaceTime when your mom had them on FaceTime before we got live. So, wonder where Pat is.
He said he may or may not be on. I talked to him for about half an hour earlier.
Okay.
I was told to go from my nice at level 4 as many times as it takes to get it. And
Who?
once I get that, I'll have off camera, I'll tell you about some other good news that I'll be doing.
Oh, okay.
But
Hold
let's
on.
just say I'll be able to add 3 letters behind my name that most people have to get a college degree to get.
Oh, here we go. There he is. Notice I'm wearing my official shirt.
I'm not wearing a Captain Jerk shirt today. I'm wearing a camel shirt.
I've been
Oh,
playing with this. Found out it was glow in the dark. Thank you, by the way.
Sweet.
Been scaring my kids with it because I got a UV light, so I've been making it glow, and then I'll place it in their room at night.
I have a UV light, but mine's a laser pointer.
I was at. I found a company on Facebook called Olights, and they make really powerful LED flashlights
Oh, cool.
for a cheaper price than like what a Streamlight would cost you.
See, I got mine on a site called solardust.com, and it was $10. So
Hey, can't beat
I
that.
figured $10 for a UV laser pointer. Sure.
Yeah.
I got my flashlight from the guy sitting there. Oh, munchies.
I'll have another one for you too because I fired all my Streamlights.
This,
Oh, here's David. There's David. Hey,
this is
David.
the old school lunch.
I'm gonna go out and come back in because I'm pixelated.
Okay.
This is the old school lunch: carrot stick, a celery stick, and chicken salad.
Nice.
All
Sure
right.
is.
That was considered to be a old school light lunch. You know.
Okay. See, Shandog's in the house, and David was in the house. Well, David was just on the panel, and he was pixelated, so now he's coming back. So, okay. All right.
Shandog's
Oh,
here.
that's
I haven't even looked at the chat yet. I'm sorry.
Oh, here he is. Let's see. Are you pixelated still?
I'm normal.
You don't look like a whole bunch of dots, David. You look solid.
Well, I was all lagging. I didn't look like a cartoon character moving like that. Maybe it's just on my end.
Hey, Captain Iron Man wants to know: no peanut butter for celery?
No, this is supposed to be a light lunch.
I like peanut butter.
Oh, hi, Iron Man, by the way.
But this is a light. I like peanut butter and celery sometimes. Sure.
Okay, what are you
This is
having
supposed
for
to be
lunch?
the old school light lunch:
What's your lunch, Justin? I know it has celery and what else?
celery, a carrot, and chicken salad with tomato.
Half a chicken salad sandwich, or did you eat
tomato
half already?
I'm doing the whole sandwich.
and bread?
Badass.
Chicken salad with your bread. You're just not having chicken salad. Okay.
Cool. Okay.
I
Well,
didn't say healthy. I said light.
I got the spoiler painted finally,
Sweet.
and actually this morning I was sanding it in 1000 grit, getting ready to buff it out tomorrow. And then if I get it buffed out, then it's going on the car.
Hey, Shandog, how you doing? And Iron Man, what's up? Hey, Ben.
Long time no see, Iron Man.
Yeah.
Come up on the show.
Hold it. Iron Man said, so is egg salad still a chicken Sammy? Breezy's Bike Shop.
Hey, Breezy, what's up?
Pat isn't here yet, Breezy. I don't know what he's doing.
I'll text him in a minute.
No,
Okay.
egg salad is not chicken salad.
How about tuna salad? That's tuna melts is the sandwich that Nancy and I like.
I haven't had tuna melt in a long time.
Me neither. It's been years since I had one of those.
That's the one.
I'm not a big fan of them.
We'll go and get a little pouch of Star Kiss in the store, and they already have chopped up onions and celery. And we'll come home here and make some tuna salad and make some tuna melts, and it just gives you enough for that one outing in that little packet, which is great.
Like a can?
It's a little can. It used to
Smaller
be.
in a can.
It's not in a can anymore. It used to have like just a little metal can in there, but they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, they're in packets. They're in pouches now. Actually, in the pouches is a little smaller in the can.
They still sell it in cans around here.
Uh-oh, someone's an REO Speedwagon fan. Look at Iron Man.
Hey, Breezy, how you doing?
So, yeah. So I started wet sanding it with 1,000 grit. I got 1,500 and 2,000 to go. And then we'll hang up sheets all around so we don't get buffing compound all over the garage. And then we'll buff the spoiler and get it cleaned up, and we'll put it on. Earlier in the week, I was running out of things to do in the garage, so I wet sanded the whole trunk down and rebuffed it. Wet sanded it with 2,000 grit and rebuffed it, and it looks great now. I wasn't happy with it. I'm considering doing the whole car.
I would.
Pat says he'll be on in a little bit. He's working on the car.
If I
Okay, so
had that kind of mobility, I would definitely do it.
we have one room for one more Iron Man Shando.
Yeah. When Pat's just be advised when Pat comes on, we're gonna have to make room.
We'll have to make a
Who, me?
merry-go-round.
Because I have to go cook dinner soon.
Okay. So you and your brother are playing tag team.
Pretty much.
Okay. All right. Okay, cool. So yeah, we went from 112, 113 degree days down to 76 degree days overnight.
It's been about that here.
I mean, one day we're sitting there talking, well, let's see, it's going to be 113 today. We plan on breaking a record that was built back in 1960, whatever. And then he goes through his weather forecast and he goes, oh yeah, and by the way, tonight it's going to get down to 60s.
Yeah, well, we're back to our usual weather. It's 86 right now, but it was hotter today, I'm pretty sure.
No, we're not. I mean, we should be borderline triple digits and in the upper 90s, and we're not. We're cool. And that's the thing, is sat there and turned around. I had to wait for it to at least give me an 85 degree plus day. So
yeah, for heat, you'd love it here. It's 86 degrees. The humidity's a little high, so.
No, well, we're at 7% still. But all the activator and reducer.
For painting purposes, you don't want to paint when the humidity's too high.
But all the activator and reducer I got is for hot temperatures, 85 to 95 degrees.
You'd be right at home here. It's 86.
So, but if I warm up enough, I got the spoiler done. So Saturday we'll finish buffing it and putting it on the car. I'll do a video. And next paint is underneath the hood. And I'm trying to figure if I want to do that now or wait until the spring, because I got a few other things I want to do. I got 100 miles on the car now, so I want to put it up on jack stands and go over every bolt. So, and see if anything loosened up. Plus, it needs an oil change. Plus, I want to take it out. It hasn't been
You have
out.
you have a torque wrench?
Yep.
Okay. A good one?
Yep.
Not a Harbor Freight one?
No.
Because I've seen people break stuff with the Harbor Freight ones. They're not, I would not recommend them. I've seen somebody break a bolt right off with a Harbor Freight.
David, every tool I got is either Craftsman before they stopped making them in America, or Snap-on. And
Well,
T-Dub,
you're in the safe zone.
T-Dub started buying me Matco tools, didn't you, T-Dub?
Yep.
Yeah. So that's the only tool brand I got. I'll buy Harbor Freight because to me that's considered a throwaway item. In reality, Harbor Freight, when I was taking panels off the car, proved me wrong because I went out and spent $40 on a real expensive spot weld cutter, which only lasted about 10 spot welds, and then it was trash. Where the Harbor Freight ones lasted, one pack lasted that whole, both quarter panels on the car. And that's got to be like 40 spot welds.
Well, see what Harbor Freight and the big box people, you know, like Lowe's, they target more toward the homeowner that's going to maybe use that tool 3 times and not use it again. Or why sell them an expensive Snap-on tool that they're only going to use 3 times? They could sell them the Chinese. I'm just saying, a lot of the tools that people buy at those home centers they're trying to get through a weekend, get through a repair.
Now, I do have a Snap-on socket that I used one time and it cracked.
You ain't chased down a Snap-on truck yet? Be like, I need a socket!
What a Snap-on like Craftsman used to be, you could have it for a lifetime.
Well, all the major tool companies are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Matco and Snap-on.
Matco,
does
Snap-on,
warranty
Mac.
links
Mac.
now.
Yeah. Mac.
What's the one on the East Coast? Cobalt, or what is it? No, Cobalt is what Lowe's was
Cromwell?
selling. Cornwell, yeah.
We have Cobalt out here, but we have more Snap-on.
Okay, Cornwell's probably more southeast, or let me see. Yeah, probably southeast.
It was it. I believe Mac Tools is now owned by the parent company that owns Stanley Tools.
Okay.
I was under the impression that Stanley bought out Craftsman.
No, they still have Craftsman.
Craftsman's still around, but I know Craftsman's at Lowe's now. So what's Lowe's brand? Cobalt?
Yeah, Cobalt.
Maybe they are made by the same company then.
Well, Craftsman you can get at Ace Hardware too.
Ace Hardware, Craftsman's are still decent tools, and I got a few Craftsman tools I'm really happy with.
The ones, as long as the ones stamped made in USA, I hate to say this, are pretty good tools. The ones that aren't stamped made in USA, I've taken back and got here. It broke. Give me another one. And they give you another one. It broke. Give me another one.
Well, I don't use them as much.
Craftsman is owned by Stanley Black & Decker.
I just saw that on Google.
I don't Google anything.
That's why they can sell them at Ace Hardware and at Lowe's, because they're not Sears.
DuckDuckGo, I just call it Google.
Yeah.
I got me a Wikipedia. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah,
I love Ace Hardware. We have one right down the street here. Not a lot of people have that, you know. And there's even a post office inside the Ace Hardware. They got like
the closest Ace Hardware that we have is down Rancho Drive on your way up to Mount Charleston.
It's maybe 2 miles. It would be at most 2 miles from here.
For us, it's in North Las Vegas.
They got a Publix. They got a Harris Teeter, Walgreens. I've just switched to using that Walgreens down there.
Okay.
Pretty much my town.
But yeah, so I got a couple old Craftsman. I got one ratchet that it's just a revolving ratchet. It'll work for 4 months, 3/8 drive ratchet, and go back over to Lowe's or Ace Hardware. But Lowe's, it's closer. Give me a new one.
I got a ratchet from Lowe's. I don't know, 10 years ago, and it still works. It's still good, and I've used it a lot. I got a Craftsman, a bigger one. I got a 1/2-inch ratchet set from Craftsman. That was a gift. I've had that for 15 years, and it's like the day I got it. It's brand new.
I got a 1/2-inch drive Craftsman ratchet, 1930 edition.
Does that mean the largest one is 19? The largest
No,
socket?
the year it was made was in 1930.
Are you kidding me?
No. T-Dub's seen it. He's handled it.
Mm-hmm.
I got all my dad's tools when he passed away.
Mac Tools is Stanley Black & Decker as well.
My dad never had any good tools. I think they all went away. They lost their garage in the.
So Mac Tools is by Stanley and
Yes.
Snap-on and Craftsman.
Snap-on is, let's see. Snap-on is its own company.
Okay. And Matco, Matco, they should be their own. And so should
Snap-on
Cornwell.
is their own company. Mac is part of Stanley. Matco is part of Fortive. I don't know what Fortive is, but
Fortive, okay.
the subsidiaries of Fortive are Fluke, Gems, Sensors and Controls,
Well, electrical stuff. I've seen that.
Hengstler, Industrial Scientific Corporation, Census Technologies, Qualitrol, Centra Systems, Tektronix, Anderson McGill, Advanced Sterilization, jeepers. Advanced Sterilization Products. I picture
Okay.
Inventec. Yeah. There's a bunch of companies there. But anyway.
I've got a Beta Tools. It's a tool company out of Europe. I got a 7mm ratcheting wrench from them.
And Craftsman. Craftsman is Stanley Black & Decker.
So Stanley purchased Black & Decker, Craftsman, and Mac Tools.
Stanley owns a lot of companies, and their headquarters is in New Britain, Connecticut.
Yep, I knew that.
There you go.
They sell. Samuel makes a lot of.
Now, see, Cornwell should be their own. Snap-on should be their own, and Cornwell should be their own. I didn't know. I thought Matco was their own, but they're a subsidiary of some.
Fortive. Fortive.
Okay, cool.
Consolidated Aerospace Manufacturing is also owned by Stanley Black & Decker. You know why they call themselves Stanley Black & Decker and not SBD? Yeah.
Yeah.
I just noticed that. Like, wait, SBD. Oh, what unfortunate initials, eh?
You inserted your foot there.
Well, unfortunate initials for them.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say I feel bad because that's hilarious.
Change it back up, boys.
It is hilarious.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, but Cornwell, what is it? Stacy David in his TV shows, he does a lot of Cornwell tool commercials, and his show's out of Tennessee.
Oh, wow.
His gear show that he does,
Yeah.
if you ever seen it, yeah, he's out of Tennessee, and so he does a lot of all the tools he sponsors it. Cornwell sponsors him too, so.
Stanley owns Bostitch. I did not know that.
Okay.
I bought out Bostitch in '86. I can hear your crickets, Dave.
Yeah, do you want me to mute myself? They're
No,
better now. They're worse.
it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool.
Oh, adding a sound. There was one right under the desk.
You got a pet cricket, David?
It's just summer, late summer. They get in here, and you can't get to them. I've got baseboard heating, and they like to get underneath the registers there's only like a half of an inch between the floor, I would not kill a cricket, but I'm tempted to get a can of Black Flag or whatever tomorrow when I go to the store. Because when they start to really. Now we got one behind the bookcase over here. There's no.
What is it? Chinese? Is it the Chinese? The Chinese say crickets are a form of good luck.
Yeah, I always say crickets and spiders are good luck because they kill other bugs. They kill not so good bugs.
Crickets don't. They just
what do crickets eat? I guess they're herbivores. They just eat.
Yeah, they eat like grasses and things, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Crops.
And irritate the hell out of you.
They don't irritate me, but the one that did irritate me today. It was really, really loud, and it was right under the desk. And I thought about getting the broom and chasing it out, but I thought, no, I'll just chase it somewhere where I can't get to it. It stopped. I think it's the one that moved over here behind the bookcase. That I can't get to it at all.
Oh, Stanley merged with Black & Decker in 2009, but they also merged with DeWalt.
I knew about DeWalt and
I didn't know that.
Black & Decker.
Yep.
Well, Stanley.
DeWalt is like their more commercial end of it, and Black & Decker's like the retail.
DeWalt is part of Stanley now.
Yeah.
Oh, they're merged. They still have autonomy. They can still do what they need to.
Oh, you got a little jar of the paint from my car, and 2 of these coming, Captain.
Oh, cool. All right. Awesome.
I had to wait. Like a tester's bottle of paint. I had to find something like that.
Oh, okay. I could have sent you one.
Well, I got one. So
I found Tester's paint. I didn't know they still made it, but I needed touch-up paint, so I went on Amazon and got.
Well, yeah, Tester's is still a big company.
And yeah, it's yellow. I still haven't matched the color yellow, but somebody told me I could. It's just for touch-up, but they said I could sponge it out and it will blend in. So I'm going to try that.
Okay.
But it's closer than some other yellow. I got a little yellow paint pen. The Tester's is a little too dark, and the paint pen's too light. Maybe I can't mix them because they're pen and jar.
So what'd you make there, Cap?
Oh,
that's a little
R2D2.
Yep. It's my little droid buddy R2D2, all right.
Where'd you get the little round piece?
What little round piece?
Was that a kit that you put together, or was it all one piece?
No, it's an original from 1977.
Holy!
So you bought that from a store?
I bought that from eBay.
Factory.
You see all the chrome is worn off his dome.
That's what I was talking about, was the chrome.
Yeah.
It looks like it's been there for a while though.
It's just wore off. The chrome part just wore off. Yep. And he's got his legs. He's got a screw. Everything. He does not have his little periscope. The little periscope.
That would make a great pepper mill.
He does not have his periscope, but he doesn't need it.
You could have R2D2 salt and pepper shakers.
Yeah.
I could. You're right.
You could.
I have no desire to have that, but yes, you're right. I could.
I'm not into Star Wars enough.
He's just a finger puppet, essentially.
Here, Captain, here's one for you. And T-Dub can tell you this, that when he was growing up, his favorite was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
That was Patrick.
No, that was you.
I was chasing girls. That was Pat. I was chasing girls at that point.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. One of them has all their Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles still in the wrappers up in the attic here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Never opened, never played with them.
Well, that's collector's items now.
Yeah.
It can be. The
value will just keep going up.
We used to do your paper route on my street bike, and so we get done and get home early Saturday to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yep. But yeah, they got there's a box up there, a banker's box full of just nothing but Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff, still in the original wrappings, never been opened.
Yep, I know a lot of people that have stuff like that. But it's more rare to find things like I don't know, GI Joes.
Oh yeah.
In the original bubble packs, the blister cards. It's even more rare to find Transformers.
That's the one that came to mind, was the Transformers.
The one that I got.
The first thing that I ever sold on eBay was a Transformer. Okay.
What was that thing I got you, T-Dub, for a birthday?
Voltron.
Voltron. T-Dub's got a full-size Voltron.
Of the universe. Yeah,
you know, I've heard things about eBay. I've heard the first item was a Pez dispenser, and I've heard that it was one of those light laser pens that didn't even work. It was broken. Somebody bought it.
Yeah, my first item that I sold was a broken Transformer. Actually, the head had broken off.
Well, I bought a broken flashlight off of eBay for $10 and fixed it.
I know. I remember watching the video. I remember.
It was one of those, but I found another one on eBay that I fixed. And it's all chrome, and it doesn't look like it has a spot of rust on it. I think somebody got it and dropped it. And it's a little spring, and where the lens goes in is a little bent, so when the spring popped out. But you can't even tell it was bent. It was just enough shock to cause that little spring to go boing. And when I was in there, it flew across the room too.
I have a couple of those old chrome body flashlights in the other room.
Yeah.
I got a couple of those.
Everybody says
Tom's got a couple as well.
Everybody says they have them. I guess they were in yard sale. Well, a lot of them got handed down from family members.
T-Dub might even have one from his Boy Scout days.
Well, if he doesn't have one, I'll send him one. I got so many of them.
I do not.
I was in the Boy Scouts, two different troops, 2 different times. Like I quit and then I went back in because my stepfather was he's a peckerhead and he just wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm like, fine, but I wasn't into it, so I said, forget it. I'm not doing it anymore, But I'll tell you this, I don't have any Boy Scout stuff anymore. I don't even think I have the manual or nothing like that anymore.
What I learned to do is to find one thing to focus on and not hoard it, but have some of it around that you can enjoy and mess with. You can't be like I don't think it's healthy to be one of these people that have a little interest in everything and then they're overwhelmed with, like Tom. He likes the car and he has the models. Those are his two main. He just sticks with that unless there's something I don't know. I don't know what you do. What do you do? Is it the skulls? Is it the making of the skulls with the resins?
I do everything.
How do you do it?
I'm into a lot of different things.
Yeah.
What do you got, Tom? An armored truck, or is this just like a
old Chevy pickup?
Oh, Chevy. Yeah.
That's nice.
Not focused.
No. Cool. Oh, that's a Chevron. I was thinking to myself, you know what? Watch that be part of the Hess collection, but no, it's Chevron. It's still a gas station collection truck. I was going to say, is that Lucy? No, that's not Lucy. But it is a pinup girl. Cool. Is she anatomically correct? Hey, it's got a Chevy on the bottom. Cool.
It's the 55 Chevy from American Graffiti, and the blonde that was in the movie.
Are you kidding me? Oh, that's one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, you see American Graffiti. It says it right. Where is
Yeah.
it? There.
Yeah.
But, I'm real happy that you have that, Tom. I don't take it the wrong way. I don't desire it, but it's like, oh, wow, that's cool to look at.
I don't know. Somebody gave me these like stocking stuffers for Christmas several years ago, and I just threw them in the closet.
And now they're worth something from American Graffiti that's perfectly in the package. Was it 60?
Oh, those aren't from the 60s, though, David. Those are probably from like 2015 or something.
Maybe the movie. Maybe they did a remake of it or something.
Okay, now I'm really going to date you guys.
What's up? Gary Lewis and the Playboys. I don't know that one.
I don't know that one either. Sealed it. Oh, no, it's been open.
It's a 45.
Yeah.
I have a box of those. You want them?
Oh, my brother has boxes of those records. I've even sent records to him.
Tom, David, you guys want these freaking 45s? I got a whole little record vault full of them.
Oh, and I'll give you an address so you can send them to my brother. I'll pay the shipping.
The Righteous Brothers. No way, dude. No freaking way.
I bought him the Righteous Brothers. I found the record at a thrift shop.
My goodness.
Well, let's.
I just sent Joe Steve Winwood, our diver. It was Debbie's, and I sent him Year of the Cat and some other album. And he said he couldn't even play the other two albums, but the Steve Winwood album played. And I said, well, I don't know what Debbie did to them. They looked okay. They didn't look like they were scratched.
Here's one. Look who the artist is here.
I can't see.
I can't either.
Nancy Sinatra.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
I remember them playing that on the radio.
Man, I had stacks and stacks and stacks of 45s and LPs and stuff when I was a kid. And I had this crappy little record player that it was one of those little suitcase ones, but it wasn't really a suitcase. It was just like a wood box that had like wallpaper or contact paper on the outside of it, and it was like neon psychedelic colored flowers. So it was clearly for a little girl, but
Girl record player.
I did not care because
it worked.
I had me a record player. It was mono and it played records, but I didn't care because it played records. That was the only requirement that there needed to be.
Yeah.
Okay. This is all what's left of my record collection when I joined the Air Force. My dad told me put my comic book collection, put my records, put it all in boxes and stack them in the closet. And he says, we'll keep them there until you come back. And then he says, you can sort through it, get your stuff and get out. And I said, okay, fine. Well, 3 weeks later, my mom went up in that closet and threw everything away.
Oh, you're kidding me.
No. And I had issue number 1 of Spider-Man.
He has to go get a beer on that one.
Well, that gets him fired up every time he mentions that.
It's not even about the money. It's like, I got Spider-Man number 1.
Oh, you ain't heard that.
Well, you gave Santa Claus an idea.
Even if you have no other comic book, I mean, that's quite a feather in your cap. You're just
Actually, Captain Kirk, I had Spider-Man number 1 through probably, what was it, number 50? I worked at a Ben Franklin 5 and dime store, and I was in charge of loading the comic book machine. So when new Spider-Mans came in, guess who got them first? And this is when comic books were 5 cents.
I remember. well, I don't remember them being 5 cents. I remember being able to get comic books like right away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember
Like
comic
right away, right as soon as they freaking like before they even hit the rack. Like me and a couple other kids would be standing there waiting for the fat chump behind the counter to freaking pop the box open. We're just like just bugged out on sugar.
Well, I was the chump behind the counter sitting there breaking open the box, loading the machine.
Yeah,
but
we'd be freaking pigging out on freaking now and laters and gummy worms and stuff, and just like just absolutely ready to pop.
Sugar rush. Yeah. Along with that and Captain, it was a little bit bigger than a copy paper box full of comic books. And every comic book, once I got done reading it, I put it in a plastic sheath and folded it and put it down into the box.
Yeah.
And I was collecting them for that, to collect them.
So yeah, if those went to the dump, nobody probably got them. But if
they went to the dump. Every year, Northbrook has called major trash day. So you could throw anything out at the curb. And the village would come by and pick it up. Well, what they do is they turn around and recycle it and pocket the money. And you get some pretty good stuff. And it all went out in that. So
yeah, unless you want to take it to the dump, you have to hold on to it for a year until that one day they come around and pick it up.
Oh, I got this. I came home for leave and getting ready to go overseas to Thailand.
Yeah.
And I went upstairs in my bedroom and I looked in the closet and it was all gone. I go, what the F happened? And I was livid. And my dad had to calm me down. But I was livid. And she just,
I had every right to be.
And she says, well, I didn't know. And I says, well, wasn't my name on the box, Mom? Yeah. And didn't I have them tucked nice and neat in the corner of the bedroom, in the closet? She goes, yeah. And I says, other than that, all my other stuff was out of that bedroom. She goes, yeah. And I says, that's what you asked when I left. And she goes, yeah. And I said, why did you throw my shit out?
Yeah.
That was probably the last day I talked to my mother for almost 12 years.
I don't blame you. I don't understand why your mother would throw all your stuff away. It wasn't bothering her.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to open Pandora's box now.
No,
I'm not going to play junior psychologist. So.
No, and I'm not going to go down the road any more than that.
I tell you this. I've had a lot of my toys thrown away over the years. Freaking like the odd freaking like Star Wars figure, the odd box of stuff that I was freaking,
all that's gone. My parents threw all that away.
Yeah, when I wasn't looking, my parents would throw out my stuff all the time. Throw out your kid's shit. Hey, you take your good with your bad. You freaking, you take a chance of whether or not your kid's gonna freaking come back and freaking beat your ass later.
No,
yeah.
I thought I was the only one that my parents threw my toys away. They would just disappear. And I would ask Mom, well, what happened to my so-and-so? Well, it was broke. I was curious, so I broke a whole lot of the toys.
Oh, I made Stub and Pat. I go, Christmas is coming. You better do a toy purge. If not, I'm not going to buy you any, or you're not going to get nothing.
At least you got toys.
And so every year, don't you remember, T-Dub, right? Every year, right before Christmas, coming out of summer, him and Pat would sit there and purge their toy boxes. They had their own rooms.
I'm just thinking about all the money and valuable toys I've destroyed so I could justify throwing them away.
Well, when Captain Jerk started talking about G.I. Joes, I sat there remembering all the G.I. Joes I probably blown the legs off or everything else because he was in battle. And got hit by a mortar, MK8, AKA otherwise known as M80.
I know it was truly an accident, but I remember running over a Barbie doll with a lawnmower.
Let me tell you something, dude.
Broken off, her head was gone.
We had so many freaking G.I. Joe guys because I would go to the freaking tag sales and I would lay down the dollars,
Yeah.
And then I would get them G.I. Joe guys for like a nickel, a dime, a quarter a piece. Some people had the audacity to try to get $1 a piece for them, and I'm like, are you nuts? This one guy was trying to sell them for $5 a piece, and I'm like, yeah, pass. He's like, you don't even know what I got. You keep telling everybody that I'm a freaking scam artist, and I'm freaking like too expensive. I seen what he had, and I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter what you got. This is 1987. You're selling your stuff for way too much money, dude.
Oh my goodness.
Like adults might freaking fall for it, but I'm not, because I'm not stupid. So I went over there and I freaking told the guy, I said, right now I got $20 and there's 23-inch G.I. Joes on this table. I'll buy them all for 10. Plus, I'll give you $5 if you go in the house for the rest of the day. And he was so mad at me. Like, who's this little punk kid coming up talking like that to me? Yeah, you're right. I was a punk kid, and I was going to talk like that to anybody. I didn't care,
Yeah.
you know. But I'll tell you, I had so many G.I. Joes from doing it, from going up to different tag sales and being like, I'll take them all. I don't care what they are. I'll take them. Well, you got to leave some for the other kids. This is a tag sale. You want to get rid of stuff? Fine. You want to offer stuff to the entire freaking neighborhood? Then give them out for free, and every kid will come and take one, even if they don't want them.
Well, now I can laugh at eBay because I found other sources, a place to kind of shop for things. But the seller will put something on eBay for an inflated price and just keep relisting it. There has been stuff on there that has been on there for years that they've never sold. Either that or they got a whole case of them that are exactly identical. But I don't think it's a case of them. They're just willing to wait on some unknowing.
Yeah, unfortunately, by the time anybody gets around to paying a freaking $1,000 for something that's only worth $100 now,
yeah,
it'll be 25 years in the future. Yes, it will. But all of that freaking mold is going to build up. All that dust is going to settle on that thing. So the overhead on something like that, is it really worth it?
Why would they want the overhead? Why don't they just, okay, it didn't sell, we'll lower the price a little bit. Some of them do that. They'll say price reduced. Or like if you look at an item maybe more than 3 times or put it on your watch list for a while,
I don't want it.
They'll send you an email and make you an offer on it. They'll say, okay. And I've taken them up on some of their offers if they reduce the price.
Well, anyway, we used to take them G.I. Joe guys, and we would freaking paint them different colors and things, different teams or whatever. We would end up with so many pieces and parts left over from repairing them and making them whole again. Like we have 3 Dukes. One of them needs arms. Okay? So we take arms off of one that's got messed up legs. And then another one needs legs. So we take out, maybe one's got good body panels, one's got good arms, one got good legs, and they all got a decent head on them. So we take all the pieces that are good and put them in one. Then we have one good Duke. And then the other 2, we have 2 junky Dukes. Now we can destroy these Dukes because they're garbage. They've been dog chewed or whatever. Or they've been freaking like melted by the freaking by heater, something like that. So now we have a leader. We have a G.I. Joe leader, and we'll play with this one. We'll keep the good Duke in the house, and we'll play with this Duke out in the dirt. Yeah. Because he's already half destroyed.
They were out in the dirt, and they got hit, or they walked across that landmine as that M80 was going, oh, well. And then once we broke them, they were in the trash. We just go find another one at a garage sale.
But we would freaking buy up all the ones we could. And
plastic anyway. Yeah.
T-Dub's got to go.
See you guys later. Sorry to interrupt, guys. I'll see you guys
Yeah.
later.
Okay, that moves another beer.
Have a great weekend.
We would have so many leftover pieces. You know what I did, Tom?
What?
I used all these pieces. I took a bunch of arms, right? You know what I did? I super glued them all together, and I used that as like a super mutant creature. There was just like a ball of like all arms just pointing out in every direction, And if somebody freaking like was talking shit to me or something like that, I'd be like, oh yeah? And I'd bring it out and they're just like, oh no, not that thing. And I'd just like whip it across the freaking, like the toys we were playing with. It would like knock all the dudes over. I'm like, yeah, take that. And so like it broke apart a couple of times. I tried re-gluing it and it just wouldn't happen. So one time I got smart and actually freaking took a magnifying glass and I melted them all together. The combination of a lighter, like a Bic lighter, and a magnifying glass, and I freaking welded them all together like manually.
Mm-hmm. Well, because in the house, the reason why my dad asked for me to package up everything was that my two younger brothers were going to take over my bedroom, and it was built-in bunk beds up against the wall. Had enough. The room was long and narrow. I mean, I could go probably in my adulthood, I go like this and touch walls.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so the same leave I came home from, found out my mom threw out all my junk, is I turned around and is all the years that I was working at the Ben Franklin 5 and Dime store, I was getting my younger brothers, Jerry and Michael, Hot Wheels stuff. So I came home and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at this Hot Wheels track coming down the stairs, going through the kitchen, into the basement vestibule, down the basement stairs and everything else. And my dad's sitting there and I'm going, what the hell's going on here? And he says, sit down and watch, get a cup of coffee. And I sat down and I watched. And so what it was Michael was upstairs on the top bunk and they started the Hot Wheels up there, came through the bedroom, down the second floor stairs, through the high bank curves in the kitchen, around down the basement stairs, into the basement, and they had a long straightaway, and Jerry was standing at the end of the basement with a catcher's mitt for the car. And so they had walkie-talkies, so you hear it click over, you hear Jerry go tell Michael, because the basement door was open, we hear Jerry echo up, and he tell Michael, let it loose. And a couple seconds later, here comes this car, Hot Wheels car, hauling ass down the stick, going all, and they had that thing cooking.
Yeah. We did similar stuff. We did it. We did it off a few different roofs, not like second story roofs. We seen other kids do that, and it didn't work as good. You know, the first story roof is good enough.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, we've done some pretty crazy things. We used to have the slot cars that we used to like to freaking nice.
Mm-hmm.
Really nice tracks that we had for that. We would have the adults help us with the electronics sometimes and stuff like that to keep the whole track energized, because you're only getting a very, very freaking minimum amount of electricity if you're only using one pack to energize the track. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, we had it so that freaking the cars would be jumping off of one track, like an isolated energized track, and jumping onto another different track with a different energy source. And we did some cool stuff with those. Those were really cool.
Hot Wheels Sizzlers?
The Sizzlers? What are you talking about?
I remember those.
Hot Wheels Sizzlers. They came with a high bank oval track. You had cars. You had to plug them into the juice machine, would charge the cars up, and then you take them off and put them on the track and let them go, and they go.
Oh,
called Hot Wheels Sizzlers, and it was called the juice machine. It looked like a gas pump with a little cable coming off that you plug the cars into. Okay, all right. Well,
old school stuff, yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
you know what we used to have? We had Sizzlers at one point. I got those at a tag sale, okay? But you know what else we had was regular slot cars that had Hot Wheels bodies on them. You know, they had the bodies of the Hot Wheels cars on them.
Mm-hmm.
So you could freaking have Hot Wheels slot car kind of type deal, you know?
Okay.
That was dope. I still got one in the other room. It's the twin the twin mill. I still got that one. It's red. It's not the old green one. They modernized it. It's red.
Well,
But
what
yeah,
happened with the Sizzlers with my brother Jerry, what he did is he took the juice machine apart and rather than 2 D-sized batteries going in there, he
Yep.
sat there and, the big batteries that David's finding for his big flashlights, those 9-volt thing
I
stuff.
got some of those batteries.
And he T-Dub, or not T-Dub, but Jerry would wire those into the juice machine. So then when you put the car in and sit there and charged it up, it was like bam, and that car would go like 90 miles an hour around. And that was funny to watch.
the first racetrack, my first toy racetrack that I remember having, it's a 6-volt, bud.
That's
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, 9 volts are the little rectangular little batteries.
Those came in 9 volts too, didn't they?
No.
They did.
They're
not.
not 6-volter.
They're not.
That
They
size.
were never real popular. They make 7.5. They made 9. Then they made 12.
Anyway, I remember the first toy racetrack that I had was actually Crisscross Crash. That was the first one I ever had, and it came with the mine was the manual wind up one instead of the and it would sound like the old Evel Knievel. You put the Evel Knievel on the stand and and then you freaking hit the button and it goes, right?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's what my Crisscross Crash centerpiece of the freaking track. That's what it sounded like, because of the gears inside of it, and then it had these rubber wheels inside that were going like this. So you send the car through, and it freaking those are going wicked fast, and it just spits the car out at like 100 miles an hour. It's crazy.
Yeah, it was like it's like the baseball pitching machine or the football.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
2 rubber tires spinning like this, and you shove the car through there, and it launched it. Yeah.
Good stuff. Really good stuff. Really cool, fun toy.
That's when they really made toys, was back then. I mean, I don't know what they're calling.
Later on, they had one that was electric instead of the one with the wheel on the top. You spin it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just electric. You just turn it on. And
I don't even know what.
That's cool too.
Well, this is again this era of toys is from the same people who gave us lawn darts too. So come on.
Jarts.
I remember. I
Go
mean,
ahead, Dave,
I don't know what kind of toys they sell now. I've not looked at. I don't think I've looked at toys. Gone into a store and been in the toy department in 10 years.
Oh, I do it.
What?
I went to Target one time. I bought a bicycle. I bought this Schwinn about 10 years ago, and I think I walked down two of the toy aisles to get to the bikes, but I wasn't impressed with anything I saw.
Well, because it's all branding,
Yeah.
The toys are very similar to the toys we used to have. They still have action figures.
Yeah.
They still have there is a modicum of dress up clothes for for the girls at least.
I think I did see a package of Barbie clothes.
Growing up, think about Saturday morning cartoons, because that was the best time to watch TV, was Saturday morning.
Yeah, obviously.
I remember that.
And all your toys were primarily based off of Saturday morning cartoons, or at least mine were pretty much.
A lot of them, yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of them, I mean, go get the Wyatt Earp gun set,
Well, that didn't change, Tom.
For the Rifleman rifle, go get that,
Yeah, but that never changed. It never changed. The time of day when the programs are being aired, that changed. But that's it. The tradition of Saturday morning is irrelevant.
Well, the point I was trying to make, Captain, is a lot of the toys that I was getting back when I was a little guy, 6, 7, 8 years old, whatever.
Yeah.
Primarily were from TV shows.
Well, yeah, they still are. You got your Paw Patrol and your Dora the Explorer and things.
Yeah.
Whatever. You still got all that.
But it wasn't. It's not the action projectile launching, let's go have fun type toys that I grew up with, because the projectile launching.
They don't want violence, these kids, but yet they have these video games.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh,
Well,
no, I ain't going to get you that gun set, but hold on. Here's this video of
At least people blowing each other up, you know.
How about this? Nowadays, if you want that kind of stuff, kids are making it themselves.
Yeah.
We used to make a lot of that kind of stuff ourselves too. They didn't always have the toys we wanted to play with. Go ahead, bud. They didn't always have the.
See, my family didn't have much money. We made a lot of our toys. I remember my dad and I making an airplane.
Yeah. We made a lot of our own toys too. We couldn't find a freaking like a pellet gun that we wanted to freaking that we could own because we were too young. So we went and freaking made our own.
And you know, it's a one of a kind. It's not something that you can buy. You made it.
Well, it's definitely a one-off, and it definitely didn't last forever. No, but we had fun in the freaking, you know, the technological approach, and we also had fun using it. Yes, but no, they definitely did not last very long at all. Like sometimes it would last from one season to the next. Yeah, sometimes, but not very often.
No, they weren't made to last. They were meant for a kid to play with it.
If we were making them, this is what I'm saying, Dave. We were making, like, the ones that we made didn't last very long at all either. And that's how I got to know that no matter what it is, whether you make it or somebody else makes it, generally there's some things that just aren't meant to last. That's it.
They say Tonka was meant to last, but I was one of the few kids on the planet that broke Tonka.
No, it was possible to break Tonka, but if you just played with it normal, no, probably not.
No, I figured out how to take it apart. See, I was more interested.
That's different. Come on, Dave.
I mean, would take it apart and then not be able to figure out how to put it back together. It was later on I learned how to put it back together.
But then by then you'd lost all the parts and the screws.
Now I'm not curious about how things work, so I don't take things apart.
That's how he's going to qualify that, by not even responding. That's fine, Dave. I appreciate it, buddy. I
mean, I was doing this when I was 3, 4, and 5 years old.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Growing up for me was...
I remember this Fisher-Price xylophone. Now, my little brother, there's age difference, but he had a toy xylophone that was Fisher-Price. Now, get this. It was all made out of wood. Top quality. But I figured out how to take it apart. But you know what? That's the only tool that I was able to figure out. A toy is able to put perfectly back together. It worked perfectly. My brother could still play with it. But, I was curious about how that thing worked.
I figured out how to use a screwdriver when I was like 5. And I figured out how to use it really well by the time I was 6. By the time I was 7, I was taking apart things like GoBots and G.I. Joes and Transformers and fixing them for people. And I had one GoBot that was my particular favorite target for taking it apart and putting it back together. Because this one kid, he's like, dude, you're stupid. You wouldn't even be able to freaking put that back together if you took it apart, you dummy. I'm like, I flipped it over and I popped my screwdriver out of my pocket. And it took me the better part of an hour to get it back together, but I did. And once I got it back together, I knew it forever.
Hello.
It's not like I freaking, like I forgot, No, I retained it. So whenever I felt the need to freaking like pull something apart, like I'm looking at the freaking ironing board and I know if I pull that pin out of there, if I pop that screw out of there, my mother's going to go to iron something and she's going to end up getting hurt. So I'm like, no, we're not taking the ironing board apart today. And I look for other stuff to take apart. And I'm like, there's my GoBot. And I'd take him apart and I'd put him back together a couple of times, maybe even a half a dozen times. And that's part of how things in my house got saved from assured destruction.
No, I got 6 brothers and sisters. So Christmas time, came around, once you got to the age of Santa Claus and not Santa Claus type thing, if you know what I mean, that my parents would take us back and sit down and ask us, and sit there since they had to do 7 kids, that they'd sit there and go, pick one big present and we'll make sure you get that. Let's not get multitude of presents here and everything. So that was really cool that my dad and my mom sat there. So if you picked one big present and you were given a dollar amount at the time, not to exceed, you'd pick that present. And 99% of the time, my dad made sure you got that present.
That's cool.
The big present, the big one that you wanted. And that's basically what it came down to. Is that you ended up with one toy at Christmas and then a bunch of clothes. And that's the way my parents worked it all the time. And I can understand that with 7 kids in the family to sit there and do that.
I grew up really poor, but I got spoiled a few times. I'm not going to lie. I did. But not necessarily by my parents. My parents were flat, dead broke. So.
Okay. Well, my dad wasn't the richest man in the world, but yet he wasn't the poorest man in the world. We were, if you were to describe us, we were probably lower middle income, maybe a step above, maybe middle income, middle of the road type, but we by no stretch of the imagination were we rich.
No, we were pretty much middle of the road, low class, lower income, not low necessarily, but we were pretty poor. So we didn't always get something at the end of the like something substantial at the end of the year for Christmas or whatever. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was crap, whatever.
I mean, it can't birthdays were just birthdays. You usually got clothes for birthdays.
Yeah.
If you wanted anything major, the only time that you'd sit there was Christmas.
Well, see, the only thing on my family was low. Either they didn't want to spend the money, but they didn't become like middle class until I was like teenager, like in middle school. But I remember Christmas was the holiday. That's when you got all the toys. You're right, with the birthdays, you got clothes and stuff, but.
Mm-hmm. But Christmas was the time that the kids got toys.
And most of the toys were broken.
The major price items too. It was the
most of the toys were gone. They either got broken, got thrown away, kid lost interest in it. So at Christmas time, the toy box was pretty empty, and what was left in it was usually things that were about to get tossed out anyway, that really needed to be gotten rid of. And that's the way it was. It was pretty thin in November and December, those.
Yeah. Well, when I started entering my teen years, I was driving my dad nuts because I used to give him stuff. Here in Radio Shack, you can get this preamplifier. It's this model number, everything. I'd write down the model number.
We did that. Yes.
Hand it to my dad, and he goes, "What?" And I go, "You're going to Radio Shack." What am I going to? Right there. And then he came to find out that I was upstairs building my own stereo system. That he was sitting there. He came upstairs one time and he sat there and this old junk turntable I had rewired and everything else that I had. And then I had a preamplifier and then the amplifier and then the speakers that I made my own speaker cabinets out of and everything else.
I remember making my own speakers. I remember building the cabinet.
And put this thing together, and it had volume, it had wattage for the time, and it didn't distort, but you can play it loudly, and it just totally outclassed my sister's store-bought stereo to no ends. That she was so pissed at sitting there going that she had this. Remember, you'd sit there and you take it and you fold it up, and then the speakers broke off on the side, and it was a record player that had the speaker attached on.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
my sister was so proud of that and everything else, and I turned around and just buying parts out of Radio Shack built a stereo that outclassed the shit out of her store-bought model, and she was upset.
Radio Shack got a lot of business from me. I sure did.
Heck, electronics, you could build anything in out of Radio Shack. Back in the day, before they.
Not today. Radio Shack's not even around anymore.
Yeah, but even before they rolled under and everything, they didn't carry half the crap that they used
Well,
to.
you have to order it online now, and like you can't buy 5 resistors. You got to buy 25 resistors.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like the charging system on the Camaro. I wanted to use the high output alternator on it, and I had to put a resistor in it. And I sit there and I turned around and I wanted, just one resistor. Well, I've got 5 of those resistors because you can't buy them in lots of less than.
The only way you can get one resistor, if you know somebody that's really into electronics now, one place where we got a lot of parts was when we were in high school. There was a class. They would donate old broken, stereos that didn't work and stuff like that. So they had the circuit boards with all the components on them. You just go in there and go through those circuit boards and find the size resistor you want, unsolder it, and
okay.
there's one way to get parts and not have to buy,
The
of them.
The other big electronics store was Midland Electronics in Texas.
I've heard of them, but
and
they ever made it here.
When I did the car alarm system on my 70 Chevelle, I went through them buying Mercury switches and stuff.
Yeah.
Because if the wind blew strong, that my car alarm would go off because I had the Mercury switches adjusted totally wrong. And I'm living in a suburb of the Windy City. So think of that.
Okay. Enough said, right?
I'm 35 miles northwest of Chicago, Illinois, which is Windy City. And I missed the line or misadjusted the Mercury switches on my car alarm. And we got a tornado coming in. Guess what my car alarm's doing? Going nuts.
You probably just need to go out there and disconnect it.
Thankfully, I sat there and I did one thing when I wired it up is I put 2 toggle switches to cut those out of the system. So
you know what irritated me is I had this house. I was renting the house at the time, so I couldn't really do anything about the way it was wired or anything. But they had one of those motion sensitive lights that was on the corner of the house outside my bedroom window. Every time a car would go down. Now, not very many cars went down that road because it was back in a neighborhood and all that. But when the wind would start blowing, that motion sensitive light would come on all the time because the tree branches moving back and forth. Now, if it were my house, I would have wired a switch in line with that light. So when it was windy, I would just turn that light off, flip the switch. But like I said, I was renting that. But that was annoying. That it stayed on almost all the time.
Okay, well, we're not going to get Pat. He just got done working on the cruise. Time to have a shower and go get Robin at 4. So I don't expect we're going to see Pat.
Okay.
Okay. And we'll probably see T-Dub after he's done with dinner. So
okay.
Okay.
What are you doing?
My eyes hurt.
What's the captain doing?
Looks like you just got finished with an exam.
I'm doing fine work here. I'm see all these lines?
Yeah.
See how some of them are like bloated out?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm carving them all into the freaking plastic body of the R2-D2. The reason that I'm carving these lines into the plastic is because the stickers won't survive the molding process. So if I want detail on the trash can part of R2-D2, I have to carve them in myself.
There you go.
So
those are probably if you're going to start casting those are things that are going to probably become a hit. I could sit there, and if you could sit there and make them small enough, or is it just going to be that size?
This is the regular size. This is a real article.
Yeah. So it's going to be that size. Cool.
Like I've seen people take this one, like this very style, and they put it on their keychain. this size.
The smaller ones I've seen on keys.
Well, that would
It's
be
not
one
really
way to
that
keep
big.
from losing your keys.
It's not really that big. He's only like 2.5 inches.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Only.
But I'm saying though, like, it's just R2D2, normal one,
So is that the next casting project?
possibly.
Let you make a mold?
Possibly. It would probably behoove me to actually freaking do a BB-8, but I'm gonna try an R2D2.
Hey, he's the only actor that made it through all the movies. Think about it. R2D2 has been in the first one and has been in the last one, and everyone in between. Silence. Everybody's thinking, going, okay.
Well,
There's only 2 Star Wars movies. Like, I saw all 3 of the first ones in a theater.
Mm-hmm.
The first 2 were in a drive-in theater, and then the third one was actually in a real theater, Return of the Jedi, and then what's his nuts?
there
I
was,
was
What's his nuts?
for the first one, for the first one back. I believe it was in '99 or whatever.
yeah, I saw that one.
I don't remember. Hold
That's
on.
the only one I saw in the theater. That I don't think it was meant for me to see the first Star Wars in the theater, because I remember going with my aunt and we were on the way and she wanted to stop and get a hamburger. And I said, oh, I really don't. I had this weird feeling in my stomach. I don't know if there's truth to predicting the future, but I just didn't have a good feeling about going to this hamburger place. I said, no, Vicky, I don't want a hamburger. Please, can we just go to the movie? No, I want a hamburger. We go in there and have our hamburger, and somebody we're pulling out, somebody runs into us, hit and run. Just wrecks the car. The car was not even drivable after that point. We had to walk across the street to a Napa Auto Parts. I remember that. And call my uncle at work to come and pick us up because the car was wrecked.
Hold it. Punk Steve sat there and he goes, back you up, Captain. He says, I remember South Park character keychains that were that big. So you come to
yeah.
Okay.
remember
All right.
South Park keychains.
Oh yeah.
So they were that big. Okay.
Hang on.
I don't know
Make it to the movie that day.
if you make an R2D2 out of that solid resin you got and sit there and put a little screw in it and make it in for a girl's keychain, she could use that as a lethal weapon.
Okay, 99. The first one was released in 99. That was which one was that? The Clone Wars?
I just remember it being called Star Wars.
No.
No, it was Star Wars, and then they had the name of the issue or the movie or the version or whatever.
It was a redo of the first
The chapter.
They started over.
Because you had Return of the Jedi, and then you had God, what was the first one back? It was something with the Sith. God.
Revenge of the Sith was 2005.
Okay. You're going to make me go to my video cabinet, aren't you, Captain? Or are you going to look it up?
I'm looking it up right now.
Do any of you remember a hamburger place called Frisch's?
Which?
Frisch's.
No, I don't.
That was the name of the place. It was a chain.
The Phantom Menace.
Out by
That was it.
It got Chevy bought them out.
Because everybody was talking about that the bad guy with the double laser
Lightsaber.
The
lightsaber.
double lightsaber. Okay. Talk about cheap toy. I remember those in the department, in the toy department, was just a flashlight with this long tube on the end of it. Just a cheap old flashlight.
Yeah. But episode 1, The Phantom Menace, was 99. I was in the Clink for that one, so I didn't get to see that in a theater.
Okay.
Yeah, it was May 16th of 99. I was locked up.
We were
Well, for the whole United States, it was May 19th, 1999. But I was locked up most of that year.
Our church had a night activity. We went to that movie, and we saw it in a dinner theater. We had dinner, and then watched the movie.
Okay.
In the theater.
99. We were 2 years into this house.
99. I was married. May of 99. I wasn't even married for a year because I got married in October of 98.
I have never been married.
You're not missing anything.
I've been with Crystal for 15 years, dude.
And you and Crystal probably have a better, are more committed to each other than Debbie and I were. I mean, we were committed to each other.
But yeah, May 16th of 2002 was the release of Attack of the Clones. And then 2005.
Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, but if you think about it, all the act who started at the beginning and made it all the way through the end, the only one that is R2-D2.
2005 was the freaking premiere of Revenge of the Sith. And that was, again, May 19th. So I don't know why May seems to be the freaking the month of choice for these release dates, but that's how it was in the early 2000s. And
they want them released before the summer.
Yeah, well, they're trying to figure out what they're doing now with
Kids
this.
aren't going to school.
Well, the other three were actually freaking the last three that they've had.
Yeah.
I believe they were different dates.
Yeah, they were closer to Christmas or in the fall.
One of them, the last one that I saw,
isn't that around Christmas?
The Last Jedi. That was in 2017, I believe. We went with a couple of friends, and that was I don't remember. Hang on, because this is The Force Awakens was in December. Yeah, December 18th. The Last Jedi was December 15th. I believe we saw that about a week after it came out. Maybe a week before Christmas.
We're on Star Wars. We were Hot Wheels before, but now we're talking Star Wars.
And now this one was December 20th. So, around the same time.
Yeah.
For all those.
I think the first Star Wars we saw was in a drive-in theater in Ogden, Utah. And it was just a little guy.
You were in Utah. That's why you never heard of Frisch's. They got bought out by Shoney's. There was a big deal.
I was stationed at Hill Air Force Base in Ogden, Utah for, 3 years? 2 years? 3 years?
Yeah, how'd you like Utah?
Using the big boy trademark, and there was a lawsuit.
If you and I were sitting down face to face drinking a cold beer, I would tell you all I want to tell you about Utah. But going live over the air, I won't tell you all that I want to tell you about Utah because I'm not. It's my opinion, and I don't think my opinion needs.
You probably feel the same way about Utah that I feel about Virginia.
Okay.
No, don't get me wrong. I don't mind Utah. I mind some people in Utah.
Tom, I'm going to tell you this right now.
Yeah.
My mother joined the Mormon Church in 1979. She married a Mormon man in 1985. I am not a member of that church.
Okay.
So I think you and I might be on the same page.
Okay, I'll give you a brief rundown. We got T-Dub wasn't born yet. Nancy and I are probably in our second year of marriage. I got orders to Hill Air Force Base, Ogden, Utah, and we got there, and I wanted to make some extra money, so I went newspaper, house painting. Well, I can do house painting. I've painted houses before. God knows my dad's house. I walked around it several times, inside and out. So I hired on, sat there and got a guy hired on, sat there, and he said, okay, fine. Turned out to be another. This guy was a tech sergeant at Hill Air Force Base. And this was his part-time, this was his other business outside of the Air Force, that he had a painting company. Well, the thing that irritated me the most is we couldn't put the paint cans in the trash can.
Yeah, we're not allowed.
The lady wanted to do that. And we were all smokers, so we were on the back picnic table in the back 40 of the back house. We're painting the inside of this house. We're out in the back 40 of their backyard. I mean, sitting there because we were smokers and we had to smoke our cigarettes out there. Everything else, the whole 9 yards. So finally I got pissed off enough to sit there and say, why can't I throw the paint cans in the trash? Opened it up and it was full of fucking vodka bottles. And these people were straight-laced Mormons. Okay. And that wasn't.
That explained it.
That wasn't the only house that it came across. It was probably 4 houses that I did painted that came across that these people were strictly straight-laced Mormons. No cuss. I mean, we were brief going, don't cuss, don't swear. You're allowed to smoke cigarettes, but you got to do them outside over here. Do this, do that, do this, do that. These people are straight Mormons. And all of a sudden you open up a trash can and gin or vodka was the drink of choice of those folks. And how can you be two-faced like that and then turn around and look somebody?
Well, where would they get the gin or vodka? Wouldn't they be afraid they would be seen in a liquor store buying the stuff?
Well, you can't smell it on somebody's breath, supposedly.
Yeah, but in the town, I don't know how big this town was.
I've been around
here. Everybody knows each other. I mean, you'll run into somebody in a liquor store.
Oh yeah,
you'd be surprised how many dry counties there are.
A state-owned liquor store. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these Mormons were sitting outside in the parking lot of the liquor store and sitting there like we all did at one time or another, and try to find somebody to buy us some booze when we were younger. And I got a funny feeling that's what happens with these people is they said, I'll give you $20. Go get me a 1.75 liter bottle of Gilby's gin.
Tom, did you know that Catholics are also not supposed to drink liquor?
They do.
Oh, they aren't? Really? Oh.
Gosh, you wouldn't meet any Catholics.
Well, why aren't we supposed to do that? I can't understand that.
Supposedly. Now, let me say this. I really don't care.
They have wine.
If somebody blasphemes their faith, do you think I'm going to care?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I was an altar boy, and the biggest alcoholic I ever came across, and I'll say his name, was Father O'Reilly. I mean, I was sitting there, and you come up, you sit there and give him the wine and the water, and his thumb would come across and hit yours to keep pouring the wine and you couldn't see it if you were down, one of the parishioners down in all the pews seeing it. You couldn't see him doing that up at the altar. But as an altar boy, you watched his thumb come down, and he'd sit there and push on the edge of the wine and sit there and go, okay. And then he'd let his thumb up and go, okay. After Father O'Reilly served Mass, we had to refill the little chalice of wine that we had for serving Mass. We had to refill that. Normal priests would only use a quarter of it. We had to refill it after Father O'Reilly served Mass. So, yeah.
Yeah. I got one. I may have told it on the tube before, but I went to my cousin's wedding one time. This was in the 90s, in the late 80s and early 90s, something like that. And the minister that married my cousin and her husband are still married. My uncle was doing bartender. They had the reception at their house, and my uncle was the the front doors of his garage were built like a barn doors, and they were Dutch doors, so they opened and they had made a bar, and it's like the preacher got himself smashed off the vodka. Well, come to find out, a few years later, I start going to a Presbyterian church, and we join and we get to know the minister really well. Find out later that was the guy, the preacher, the wedding that got smashed. That guy could drink. And he's a preacher. He's gone now. He retired.
Well, I don't think Father Riley's around because he was in his 60s and 70s when I was serving Mass. So, I mean, but yeah, the only thing that really irritated me the most about the 3 years we lived up in Utah, and this is the one thing, is Nancy was a legal assistant. She even had a letter from, the 3 years she worked as a legal assistant, she had a letter from the lawyer's office down here and everything else. And she went from legal office to sit there and try to get a job. And she sat there and I think she went through 4 or 5 interviews. And the last one she put down, she finally realized when she put down Catholic as being her religion, slammed the door on her right there. No, we'll go through the process, everything else. Bye. Have a good day. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They don't even ask you that on an application now.
Well, back then they did. And they
don't ask you for your age. They don't ask you for your social security number.
And so that just irritated the heck out of me, because I'm living with a woman now who is totally frustrated that can't get a job that she's been trained to do.
Yeah.
So, so bottom line is she wanted to work. If we didn't need the money, she wanted to work. And the bottom line is, you know what she ended up doing? She ended up working in the dining hall on base. Okay. And ordering food or foods.
But what about being Catholic would keep you from getting a job? I would think a Catholic.
Well, if you're trying to hire into a Mormon law firm, yeah.
Oh, that's different. That's different.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It's a different situation, because I would think a Catholic, if an employer saw Catholic, that would be kind of attractive to an employer. Oh, well, they probably have some morals. They probably have.
I own 2.5 acres in Newcastle, Utah. So,
hey, I'll tell you the same thing that I tell everybody about Mormons. All right. My mother's been in the Mormon church since 1979 for over 40 years, okay? And during that entire time, during about, 10 years of that, I was forced to go to that church that she goes to. And I fought it at the end of when I was going. I said, no, I refuse to go anymore. This is ridiculous. This is your faith, not mine. You'd be lucky if I ever have a faith after this. Religious people are going to treat me like this. And then it wasn't about the way I was treated. It was about, just like my personal beliefs or whatever. But I'll tell you this. I'll tell you the same thing I tell everybody. Mormons are people just like anyone. Catholics aren't supposed to smoke and drink, and Mormons aren't supposed to smoke and drink. Well, they're all humans. Okay?
And they all do.
And they all smoke.
And I'll tell you this. My mother smoked cigarettes while she was a Mormon. The whole time that I was growing up, she was smoking cigarettes. The whole time she was pregnant with me, she smoked cigarettes. Okay? And she didn't quit smoking cigarettes until, 1986, 1987, when she was pregnant with my little sister. That's it. And even after that, I think she smoked cigarettes a little bit while she, was she going to work? She's going to have a cigarette outside. I even seen her smoking.
The point I was trying to make is if you're going to walk the walk, then walk it. Don't dance around the line.
If you're going to talk the talk, you got to walk the line yourself.
Yeah. And so and I have no problem with the Mormon religion. I have no problem with any religion. Actually, I have no problem with anything, pretty much. But if you're going to say something, you're going to do something, then you better damn do it. And don't sit there and try to be I'm Mr. All That Above and Holy, and then in the background you're porking the neighbor's wife.
That's called a hypocrite. Hypocrisy.
Yes, and I hate hypocrites.
Hypocrites are everywhere, and my
People
parents
have done
are
that
some of
for
the worst ones I've ever encountered. I'm not kidding. They tell me, "Oh, you have to do this," but they're sitting there doing it right in front of me. "Oh, you can't do this." I'm like, "Why?" "Oh, because we're the parents." You guys are terrible parents. You're supposed to be an example for me, but you're doing that and telling me that I can't do it. Come on, like, oh, you shouldn't just sit there and eat candy and freaking drink soda all the time while they're sitting there eating candy and drinking soda and munching popcorn and pretzels and watching movies and
Well, a lot of parents.
Okay.
A lot of parents sat there and had condoned me or called me out on this and everything else. But boys going through high school, and everybody knows this, you go through high school, that there are going to be drinking parties and everything else.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then I'd rather have control of that party, me being a parent. So if Pat or T-Dub had friends come over and wanted to spend a night, and they were 17, 18 years old in high school, and they wanted to have a beer or two, and they're staying under my roof, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. Because in a year or two, you can join the military and go get your ass shot off in foreign land, and you hadn't had a beer yet? Nah.
Yeah, I always had a problem with that.
Our house, you can have what you want. You could be underage. You can have whatever you want to drink, but you had to do it at home. You could not leave the house.
Yeah.
So my parents said, if you want to drink something, you're totally welcome to do it. They would point to the liquor cabinet. They'd point to the refrigerator. They would say, well, you could have whatever you want to, but you can't. You have to.
Once you pop that bottle open, you ain't leaving. You're staying here.
You're staying at home. You're not leaving. You're not going anywhere.
Well, I did that to Pat. I mean, T-Dub did it. T-Dub used to have a Friday night social in the garage with all his buddies coming over and talking cars and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him, I said, hey, if they want to spend the night, they can sleep out in the back patio, do whatever, the whole 9 yards. You guys can drink beer. If you're not willing to spend the night and you're going to drink beer and think you're going to leave this household, no, I'm not going to be responsible for your ass, so you can't drink beer. And I told him that.
Yeah.
That's it. I'll be responsible and as an adult for your child under my roof, okay? And if they're going to do certain things under my roof, then they ain't leaving my roof until the next day. All right. End of story. That's the extent of my liability. If they don't want to do that, then I need them to leave my household.
Yeah.
I tell you this, I could have swore that my freaking stepfather was drunk sometimes, and just nobody knew it.
Is it probably closet alcoholic? No.
Well, he even said,
no, I worked with an alcoholic.
He even said that
I've been around a lot of alcoholics.
He even said that he had a problem with alcohol before he joined the church. Let me tell you something. My mother had a problem with cigarettes before she joined the church, and she was still smoking after they got married.
Yeah,
well, she went to church.
As much
they smell cigarette smoke on her clothes.
But yeah, nah, it's crazy. I mean, it's what people will end up trying to do and not do and cover up and hide and everything. Nah. I hate hypocrites with a passion. Say what you're going to do what you're going to say. Be honest, forthright with everybody, and they will be honest and forthright with you. I firmly believe if you treat everybody the way you expect to be yourself to be treated, then you will be. But there are exceptions and a few assholes out there, and I will give that to you.
Hey, how you doing?
So, but no, it was that's the only thing that got me upset. Utah is beautiful country, though. I want to say we did own a 4-wheel drive vehicle in Utah, and we did sit there and bury that 4-wheel drive vehicle several times in some mud to get towed out. Yeah, we were having fun in Utah. And then T-Dub was born, and then the fun stopped.
Yeah, my parents didn't like to have fun doing any of that kind of stuff.
Mine didn't either.
Mm-mm.
I went out and had that kind of fun anyway.
I don't know how you figured it out because I never did.
I went out. My parents said, "Don't go anywhere," and I'm like, "Yep, I'll be back whenever I feel like it." And I went out and freaking like rode mini bikes and things like that, and go karts, and I did what I and my parents ground me or whatever, but I had to go out and freaking do what I had to do to be a kid. I wasn't going to have it any other way.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
There were.
If my parents wouldn't buy me something, I would hustle my ass off and get it myself.
There you go. That was it. I was getting ready to just say that.
The trade and freaking buy something and then trade it for something I know this kid likes, Thundercats. Well, I'm going to bring him a box of Thundercat stuff that I bought at a tag sale. I bought the whole box for $20 or whatever. And I'm going to go get that freaking go-kart from that kid. Okay, go ahead, Tom. I'm going to go get that go-kart from that kid right now. Because I'm going to give him a box of freaking Thundercat stuff. And he takes one look at that box full of Thundercat stuff and he's just like, "Oh, I got to have it." And it's all in really good condition. And I'm like, "Hey, I want that go-kart over there." "No, my parents would kill me." I'm like, "Well, you'll talk to your parents then. You need to go have a talk with them if you want this box because I don't even like Thundercats." You like Thundercats.
What did you do with a go-kart if your parents said you couldn't have a go-kart?
I had stuff stashed everywhere. I had porn. I had a couple of liquor bottles stashed. I had some weed here and there. I didn't smoke cigarettes at the time, but I did have.
When I was a kid, there was nowhere.
I had toys that my parents didn't know about. I had freaking mini bikes. I had go-karts. I had mopeds and things.
There wasn't a place big enough with enough room to store a mini bike in. I could put it in the garage, but they'd find out sooner or later that I had one.
Off-site, not on my property. No way. Because they would have found it and they would have.
Now, if I lived at my grandmother's, if I grew up at my grandmother's house, yeah, there were a lot of opportunities.
They would have confiscated all my freaking belongings that I was trying to hide, or freaking impounded my vehicles, and I would have had to go and steal them back.
Well, the place to hide stuff would have been at my grandmother's because there were a lot of places to hide stuff. She had a big yard and a lot of woods and a lot of trees. There were plenty of hiding places.
I didn't store stuff on relatives' properties. I freaking find abandoned buildings.
Well, no, I was just using her yard as an example.
We would have to find abandoned buildings, places that are freaking just about falling in on themselves, abandoned garages and stuff.
Valuable to you in a building that was falling down. Okay.
Huh?
You would store something that was valuable to you in a building that was falling down?
It's better than getting it impounded by my parents.
Oh, okay. Okay. Your childhood was different than mine.
A little. I wanted to freaking use the garage that we had, because all they freaking ended up doing was keeping that one car that they would never fix.
They never had a car in our garage. We had bicycles. We had things like that in there.
Well, a lot of people got that one car that they think they're going to fix, but they don't. And we had one of those, and it was called the Pontiac Phoenix. And it was a freaking bucket.
I remember that car. My aunt had a Phoenix, and she wrecked it.
It wasn't really a bad car. It's
just that it wasn't bad. She only had it for about a year.
Hold on, Dave. The one that we had, it wasn't a bad car either necessarily, but nobody was willing to freaking put the money into it that it needed. It had a shit engine, and my stepfather was like, I don't want to put a V8 in it because he has no. He's. You get me?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of those like limp, sappy dudes that doesn't get it. It's like, I don't need a V8 engine in my car. No, you do, because a 231 Buick engine is a piece of shit.
Every car they had a V8 engine. There was one that had a V6. It was a 76 Mustang, had a 6-cylinder engine, but it would go. Because see, with that Mustang, there wasn't the weight factor. It wasn't heavy. It wasn't a heavy car. So the V6 was plenty enough of an engine for that one, but everything else had an 8-cylinder engine.
You know, I think my stepfather needed an 8-cylinder engine in him. I think he's the one that needed an 8-cylinder upgrade, to get my meaning.
And they liked Fords. Everything we had was a Ford. I remember my dad got a Chevy Custom Deluxe. That thing was a piece of shit. And that was the only truck they had that had a V6 engine in it. And you'd open up the engine compartment and there was all this room in here. The engine only took up like half of the engine compartment. That tells you how wimpy the engine was in that thing.
Hi, guys.
I hate that truck got wrecked, and I didn't have any or anything over that car.
My dad was he was mixed. If he was buying a car for the family, it'd be Chevrolet. If he was buying a truck for the company, it'd be Ford. And he said
the only Chevrolet truck that my dad ever bought, and that was for his company, but he used it like his purse. And something about the 70s. Let me tell you this one. We had this Ford LTD that didn't run for like 2 years. They never drove it. They didn't want to get it fixed. Something was wrong with it, and it wouldn't run. And but we went everywhere in the company vehicle. Come to find out, later on, the light bulb comes on. That was during the fuel shortage when there was a ration on gas, and the only vehicles that could buy all the gas they wanted to was a commercial vehicle. So the company vehicles, they weren't restricted. They could get as much gas as they want to because they were a commercial vehicle.
See, and
that's why they didn't drive the person.
Even in the States during that, I was in Thailand during all that gas rationing stuff and everything else. I mean,
right in the 78, 79, like right in the midst of that mess.
Yeah.
I mean, but you're saying 78, 79, David?
Yeah.
I don't remember a shortage in 78, 79. I remember watching it on TV in 73, 74.
And they had another one. They had one in like 1979. It was this oil embargo, and they were lines at the gas stations that were like way long. The gas stations are running out of gas, but they had a thing where even license plate numbers can get gas one day, and odd number license plates can get gas. They switched between even and odd. You had to wait till the next day to get it. And then if you were lucky enough to get it, you had to wait in line to get it.
All right, can I ask a question? I came in the middle of a Buick 231. What the heck started on what started on that?
Oh, we were talking about I had to hide things from my parents when I was growing up. When I was a kid, I had mini bikes and mopeds and go-karts and things, but I had to keep them in places like old abandoned sheds nobody went in because there was too many wasps or something. Well, we would go in the back. We would just knock out the freaking back wall and we go in the back. We keep our freaking mini bikes in there or something, a moped or two, and then we'd use abandoned buildings and abandoned garages to keep our freaking go-karts in or whatever, right? And David's like, well, why would you keep something that's precious to you in a building that's falling down? I'm like, well, it's better than getting it impounded by my parents.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're talking about, keeping things in garages and stuff. And I'm like, I would have kept it on my own. I would have tried to keep it on my own property at one point if the garage wasn't full of that one car that everybody has that they never fix, you know? And in my family, that car happened to be a 76 Pontiac Phoenix. And it was a bucket. It had a 231 Buick in it. And my uncle kept telling him, his brother kept telling him, put a V8 in this thing. I can find you a V8 and put it in there, and it's no problem. We can get it done, and it'll be cheap. And my stepfather's like, no, I don't want a V8. No, I'm not going to do. You want a 231 Buick piece of crap? Come on.
Wasn't that all aluminum 231? Wasn't that all aluminum Buick engine they came out with?
No, it's the 3.8. That's the one that they used to put in the turbo Regals. Okay. That's the 3.8.
No, it's just
it's a racing engine. It's an engine that's supposed to be rebuilt every time you use it, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, the point I was getting at is Buick made an aluminum engine. I mean, they had to be one of the first GM companies to do an aluminum V. I can't remember if it was a V6 or a V8. And it was, I mean, all the way up to the heads, and it was just nothing but a piece of overheating junk.
That's the Cadillac North Star.
No, there was a Buick engine out there because I had to end up doing a valve job on one, and we were talking about it when we were in the shop one time. Shandog, what's going on?
Yeah,
Okay, how you guys
we
doing?
talked all over you. You can have the floor.
No, what it is Captain's frozen and so isn't David.
Am I frozen? Well, I'm not
Both
frozen.
them two are frozen on my screen. Tom's not.
Okay.
It's my phone. I know it is.
Well, Captain just stated that Captain's frozen.
Okay.
Well, we talked a variety of subjects today. I mean, Hot Wheels to cars to parents to upset with parents.
Yeah, you did. I listened to the whole show. I was walking my dog. Plus, my wife had company, so she's out on the deck with her girlfriends, and I'm out front.
Now,
So that's why I couldn't come on till now.
after the show today, I'm going to go out and wet sand a spoiler.
There you go. Because it's 7:17 here. Same as Captain and David.
Then David.
It's 4:17 here.
Right. I have a friend in San Francisco.
Okay.
Tom?
Punk Steve, nobody frozen. Okay, Punk Steve says nobody's frozen.
Tom, I can't say I'm freaking really sad about missing those 3 hours.
Well, I went even over to YouTube to see if we were frozen on YouTube, and we're not.
Sad about missing those 3 hours, Captain?
No, I can't say I'm sad about missing those 3 hours. My day's been boring as hell.
Oh, okay.
Not
Okay.
mine. I took a ride up to New Hampshire this morning. I went all the back roads, so I left at, 8 o'clock, took my dog for the ride, and I didn't get home till 2:30.
Cool.
And it's only an hour ride if I go up the highway. But I went the whole back roads.
Sounds like you had a great day.
I did. I had a good time.
Awesome.
The only thing, you weren't on a motorcycle when you
We
did.
got someone new in the chat. Let's welcome, now, don't get me if I pronounce his name wrong, but what is it, Gemma?
Yep.
Gemma's Journey Grace. Welcome.
Yep.
Welcome to the show.
She's been on some of the live streams.
Okay. Well,
Hi,
She's a good friend of mine.
first time I seen her here, Cap.
She's a very good friend of mine. She's
Well, if you're a good friend of Captain's, welcome to the show.
yeah, she's all over the place. She's great person. Hi Gemma, how you doing?
I can't read the chat, so hi, Jem.
Okay.
I like them. She's a nice
I'll let you know, Shandog.
Thank you.
She is a decent person. She really is a sweet girl.
Okay. Cool. Well, we're getting down.
Next week I might take a ride down through Connecticut. I was wondering if Captain would be around.
Next week, probably. I don't see
Yeah,
myself
one
doing
day.
anything.
Maybe we can meet.
You don't see yourself going anywhere.
My life is kind of boring.
Too.
You're learning a lot about yourself today, huh, Jim?
Cool. That's always a good thing. That is. The
I
more
don't
you
know
know
exactly
about
what she
yourself,
means,
the more
but-
the better off you are. So.
Doodly doo, doodly doo, doo 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 doo.
Do
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 do do do do do do do do do do do do do do.
do. Okay, we all done doodling?
Yes.
Oh, it's
A
too
little.
bad you two are frozen. Really, Tom's is frozen a bit too. It's got to be my phone.
Yeah,
Because when I was
go out
watching you
and come
guys
back in.
early, when I was watching you earlier, it would flash and then flash on, but I didn't lose nothing. So what? I should go out and come back on?
If you want, we'll be here. We'll be here for about another 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, I'll see if it'll work.
We can have Gemma. Is that how you pronounce it? Again, Gemma. They can come up.
Yeah, anybody wants to come up.
I'll put the link in.
So, Captain, I'm going to throw all this in probably on Monday into a flat rate box, and I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
All right.
Thanks, buddy. Sounds fantastic.
This, I'm really intrigued of what you're going to do with this.
I like sending stuff to Captain.
I have a couple of ideas.
He always appreciates it.
And you said a couple. I got 5 of these. I'm sending you 2 so you can play it with both ideas.
Okay.
If you say you got 3 ideas, I'll send you a 3rd one.
I have at least 2 ideas right now.
Okay, you got till Monday. When I
Okay.
box everything up to send it off to tell me if you want a 3rd one.
No,
And
2 should be good. I got 2 ideas.
Yeah,
They're
2.
pretty solid.
Pen.
Oh yeah. I see.
Okay.
I see.
All right. But yeah, I'm curious to see what you're going to do with that.
Yeah.
Your dog couldn't get back on.
It might have been his internet or something.
Don't count them out yet.
I ain't counting nobody out yet. Holy smokes. I didn't see this sitting in here. Look at this. I don't know if you can see it, but it did get corroded. And usually bare steel in Nevada, down here in southern Nevada, doesn't get that much corroded. I mean,
Well, you've been finger banging those things for a couple of weeks now.
I know, but I
Must have
mean,
been oils and acid and stuff from your skin. So
yeah.
just
Yeah.
take a piece of 4O steel wool and just lightly go over it and all the oxidation.
Oh, I am so done with sanding. I could take it outside while I wet sand the spoiler and wet sand it with some 1000 grit.
Well, you could.
Well, actually, I'm done with 1000 grit. We're moving
Steel
on.
wool wouldn't scratch it up as much. But 1000 grit, I don't know. That's a toss. That's a call there. 1000 grit sand.
Getting a new phone. Look at Shandog. You're getting a new phone, Shandog?
Yeah, I've been needing one. This thing's like 2 or 3 years old.
Yeah, well, Nancy and I just got rid of our 6S's. That tells you how old we are. And got the,
Wow.
yeah. They sat there and she, my phone won't do this anymore. And I said, neither one will mine. And I said, well, they're old phones. We had TW and Pat constantly telling us, Dad, you got to get a new phone. Got to get a new phone.
We just got a new phone, and ours was at least 3 years old.
That's about
Well, that's when I started looking for new phones. That's why I said, well, let's get a 7S. If our 6S's are going bad, let's get a 7S.
No.
And yeah, couldn't find it.
in about a year.
Let's get an 8S. No,
It'll last you a year.
yeah, this is an 11 Pro. I get X or what? I don't know what it is. It's a freaking phone. All you do is make phone calls with it.
That's all I want a phone for is to make phone calls, and it does it very well.
Texting on it too.
I text and make calls. That's the only thing. I have to go on the internet sometimes on that phone, but I do it so seldom.
If I was on the go more often
They,
and I needed a handheld device to give me like whatever,
Yeah.
then I would get a more complicated phone. But right now, this cheap, crappy $50 phone is going to have to suffice.
It looks like my phone.
You can do with the money at hand, Cap.
It's an LG. It's an LG.
You pull a phone out. You pull a phone out like that today, and people look at you funny. It's like, what is that?
Actually, what you need to do, and I wish I would have kept them, is get in a crowd of people, like in a tram coming from the airport or whatever, and then do a flip phone.
Hey, I have a flip phone.
Great, Gemma.
I got it 3 years ago, brand new. It's an Alcatel One Touch. You can still get them, and I do use them on airplanes and in trains and on buses and trams and stuff like that. But I never really paid attention to what the reactions. But people say, "Well, you could just get an Uber," and I pulled my phone out and said, "On this." But I know the cab company here in town. I try to give them business because Uber, they're nice people, and Uber's about to kill those people.
I don't know. I went traveling with T-Dub, and he's got it down. So, he flies and travels so much. He's got it down so pat that the minute we touch down, wheels are down. And I was traveling with him, he already ordered the Uber car. Are you sitting there?
When he was on the plane.
On the plane, we just touched down. We were taxiing to the terminal, and he's ordering the Uber car.
Well, they have
we didn't carried on. So that was totally amazing to sit there and watch how technology has evolved.
Oh, I was just thinking they charge you for it, but they have Wi-Fi on the plane.
Yeah. Well, actually,
Uber while you're still up in the air before it even lands.
CT-Dub in Grapevine, and Wi-Fi is free on the plane.
Well, sometimes they charge you for it, but I guess it's free.
Well, the last couple of times we've flown, it was free.
Great.
It depends who you fly with.
Well, I don't care. I guess all the airlines are the same. The one I've liked over the years really well is Delta, but I always end up on American. I got on a United flight one time, and I was very impressed with United.
United was my number one, but going down to Grapevine, if I'm going to Chicago, I'm flying United. If I'm going down to Grapevine, Texas, or Dallas, Fort Worth, it's American.
Well, I flew back from Dizzy's the last time on United, and that's the first time I ever did, but I was very satisfied.
Hey, I tell you what, man. I've only been on a plane once in my life, and that's when I was 4 years old. I barely remember anything about the trip.
Well, it's not the same now. It's not the same getting on an airplane now.
I really don't think it's ever going to matter to me because I don't have enough money to fly anyway.
Well, amazingly enough, depending on where you're traveling, it's the most economical and the safest way to travel.
Gemma says it's good to see you, Shandog.
Hey, Jem, nice to hear from you. Thank you.
She's never seen you on camera, so she says
so
it's nice to see you.
You're not up here yet. Why?
Jimmy, thanks. We're here every Friday at 2:30 in the afternoon.
5:30.
Then I got my channel,
Eastern.
which is very entertaining, unless you're a car guy. Because
we're trying to grow. We're trying to expand a little bit. So
I'm working on a '68 Camaro, and every now and then I'll throw a barbecue clip up there.
Well, we talked about toys. What all did we talk
Oh shit! We've been all over the. We talked about Christmas. Hot Wheels.
Yeah.
Come on, Cap. What else should we do?
Garages.
Yep, garages.
Blowing up Army men.
And blowing up
Army men.
You got to remember blowing
Talked
up
about a Buick motor.
Comic books.
You had the war scenario.
About the Mormons.
Somebody. Okay.
Yes, we discussed Mormons. Yes.
Oh yes, we did. And we
Yeah,
discussed.
don't even get Gemma started on the Mormons.
Don't get Tom started again either.
Oh no! Don't get Gemma started on the Mormons. No way.
No. We ain't gonna do that.
She lives
If
in
any
okay.
Mormons are watching or
Okay,
told,
Tom.
they're not laughing
Tom,
at
Tom, she lives in UK.
We're done. See this? Cap. See this? Done. Done.
Even Gemma says, "Oh no." Oh no. Anyway,
send me your email. I'll send you an email before we go live, and you can come on and we can all talk, rip them. Okay. I'll send it to Captain Jerk. I'll send it to Dave, and we'll all get on prior to going live, and we'll just talk about it.
I'll watch out for the email.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tom, you have my email, do you not?
No, I don't, Shandog.
Oh, I thought I gave it to you. Because I emailed you before about something about Dizzy's.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Hang on.
If you could give it to Captain for me, because Captain, you don't have mine, right?
I do.
I think David does.
David,
do you have my email?
it's not in the contacts.
No? Oh, I thought I gave it to you somehow.
I don't mind giving mine out over there. It's collinsd65@gmail.com. Who's going
Mine is, I'll tell you mine. I don't care either. It's shandogms.69@gmail.com.
Yeah,
What was
but
that?
Shandog. Hold on. Shandog. What?
It's shandogms.69@gmail.com.
it's SH, because I'm in a different screen. SHANDOG
Yes.
MS, like in
Yep, Mike.
Microsoft.
Dot
It's got
69.
multiple sclerosis. Yeah.
I'm going to send you an email when I get done, when we get
Okay.
to the show. Okay? Make sure we get hooked up.
All right. Makes like
Mine is real simple. It's TA Noble at, and Hazy always likes this, Cox, COX.net. Now, if Hazy was online, he'd be laughing. He'd be giggling
Right.
like a little high school girl on prom night. Once she's
Okay. I just sent you an email, Shandog.
Yeah, it just came in. All
I'm
right.
surprised it didn't end up in your spam.
You know what? I never even looked at my spam, and my wife showed it to me like a month ago.
All right, Shandog, I just sent
She
you
goes,
one.
"You ever go in there?" And I said, "No." So I did. I'm like, "Wow, there's weird things on there."
Let's see if it didn't bounce. Did you get it?
No, not
Probably
yet.
lots of porn in there.
It's only
Yeah.
got hard in.
That's my channel.
I don't know. I don't look at porn, so
You
I got a
don't?
wife. I don't need porn. I got a wife.
We were talking about that earlier too. A wife, not porn.
Talking about my wife? No, I'm only.
I did mention porn, but only briefly.
Well, only briefly. No.
Only briefly.
Yes. Just
No,
like brief nudity in a movie.
Tom mentioned it. No, you said it. You hid porn from your parents.
Yes.
I'm sure Tom did too.
What?
Hid porn from your parents.
Underneath the mattress of my bed.
Yeah.
That's
That
so
should be
cliche.
where we're allowed to hide our porn and keep it. But no, my parents had other agendas. And I find it odd that my stepfather finds my freaking porn mags and then spends 2 hours in the bathroom ripping up my porn mags.
Just throw them in a bag and tie it up.
Yeah, but he spent 2 hours ripping them up in the bathroom.
I get
Yeah. What point did that mean? Why did he have you could sit there and just grab them, take them, and throw them in the trash? Why take the 2 hours and rip them up? What
He's
point
probably trying to make a point, I guess. I don't know.
No, he's sitting there
No.
beating off to the damn things.
Yeah, he was enjoying himself. I got a hold of that, what you said, Captain.
Well, you know, I want
Over
to say this. We're all men here. I was at work the other day, and I kind of got frustrated because we got this one bathroom in the plant. It's one urinal and one stall. And I went in there, and there was somebody standing at the urinal, and they must have stood there for 10 minutes. I'm telling you, they weren't peeing. It's like, if you want to do that shit, why don't you go in that stall where you have some privacy?
You would think, right?
Company, David.
Say again?
He was probably gay and enjoying your company. That's what got him off.
Well, I just walked in, walked out because I needed to go use the bathroom, so I went to another bathroom.
Well, he was just hoping you were.
Well, that wasn't going to have anything to do with that.
Yeah, the same thing happened to me
Lot
at
of
Travis Air Force Base when I was going overseas. Sat there and went into a stall to sit there and take a dump, and there was a hole in the door, and the guy was just sitting there drooling, looking at my shit.
The glory hole.
Yeah, immediately got up and left.
Play hide the weenie.
So
Oh my goodness.
I've heard about those, to be honest.
all right.
I've never seen a glory hole. I've never.
I've tried to duplicate all the lines on this. I'm hoping it worked.
Well, I'm trying to send Shandog an email, and it's giving me a hard time.
Well, did you get it, Shandog? I sent you one.
Is
Yeah, I
it
got one.
Gmail?
Yes.
I
It
got
didn't
one from
come back.
David and Justin.
Oh no, it's Cox.
And it's
I
net.
have
not
your
com.
email, Tom.
Yeah, Cox.net. T.A. Noble, my initials, Thomas Allen Noble, at Cox.net.
You go.
And this thing won't go through. What the fuck is wrong with this? Sorry, cussing.
Whatever. I think it's hilarious.
I'm pissed. All right, I'm done. I'm leaving alone. I ain't Shandog, I got your email. I'll drop you one.
Okay. Sounds good. Yeah, maybe, Captain, if I take a ride, we can meet during the week down there. Maybe you, Dizzy, will take a ride with me.
Maybe.
There you go.
All
I
right.
don't know if you're up to it.
Well, yeah, I don't really I don't have a way to get anywhere. I don't drive.
Yeah.
I do.
So-
I'll just go and meet you. I'll pick you
Yeah,
up wherever you want.
Yeah, just freaking come over here and freaking hang out if you want. It's good. Not a problem.
We'll
Cool.
figure something out.
All right, we're going. Hold it. Wait, David.
Yeah, what happened to David?
I hit the wrong button.
You're just back in time to say goodbye.
Oh,
He's
well,
down there touching the duck.
Yeah, you sure you don't have magazines, David?
David, where's your
why would I
magazine?
need magazines? I'm in front of a computer. You ever heard of
There you go. There you go, buddy. That's
You ever
it.
heard of Pornhub?
Thanks for having me
That
up,
was a good
Tom.
comeback.
You're a great fellow as usual.
Tube. How about
Later,
it?
David.
All right. Well, we'll see you
Oh,
next.
my captain's checking
Now I'm
out.
going for real.
Hey, if you
All
guys
right,
want to
I want
talk,
to go, guys. I want to.
if you want to talk off air, just wait. Just stick around.
You're always welcome here. You can come early. You give me your email. I will send you a link. Name is T.A. Noble at Cox.net. I want to thank Captain Jerk. I want to thank David C. I want to thank Shandog. I want to thank Iron Man. I want to thank Punk Steve. I want to thank everybody for coming on the show.
Yeah, Iron Man, we want you up here live next time.
Yeah, Iron
You're a
Man, you're
hoot.
next. Okay.
So
So
nobody's ever talked to Iron Man. They missed something.
everybody have a good Saturday night, and we'll see you next Friday night.
Oh yeah, man.
Later.
Do the same. Thank you.
Later.